Hey everybody, I get that music to stop. I'm gonna do that. Here we go. It's starting to die down. Hey, it's me, John. Let me mute myself. I don't want to hear myself talking. Okay. So I'm traveling and I'm not at home with my 3D printers. And I just I've been thinking a lot about how I started in 3D printing. And I want to get back to the roots now that I have a space to do it, and I've had a really interesting and difficult year, and 3D printing has really fallen to the wayside for me. So I figured the best way to get back is to remember where I came from and figure out what got me into 3D printing. And so tonight, what I'd like to do is take you guys on a journey of how I got started. You can see the playlist in the description below. And let's see if I can pull that up. My own. I've got the chat up here on my side. Please feel free to comment in the live chat. Talk amongst yourselves. I'm gonna try to just put it all out there so you guys can see what's going on. Okay, so to set the stage, it was December 2010. My job had me basically kind of like more of an office style hotel kind of thing going on, and I had a lot of time, so I was at a desk a lot. And so I'd browse Hackaday was one of my first websites. I would browse every day. So I pull Hackaday up, and on December 8th, 2010, this is the website I pulled up right here. This was Hackaday's web page, and it says the 12 days of self-replicating. And I hadn't heard a peep about 3D printing whatsoever at all. Brie Pettis was barely known. People were it was like a kit that you could buy for like $1,800 or something. But this was my first actual introduction into 3D printing, and I read this very short article. It was around Christmas time, and it says a contributor named Clement that I later came to know very well in the forums was giving the gift of self-replication this holiday season by uploading one new printable part a day. If you follow along with the prints, you'll have a Prusa Mendel by Christmas. This started December 2nd, so you'll need to catch up. The Prusa is a variation on the Mendel that uses bushings whenever possible, reducing the need to wear the bears down just to 2. So if you have access to 3D printer to make the parts for the printer, that's how it works. He has gone to distance to add a little bit of Christmas stuff in there, but it's all makeable on the MakerBot platform, which was very, very small. It was about that big. Their first machine was called a cupcake because that's about the size that you can make a 3D print. So 3D printing kind of started kitting out things back then. And so I went from this and I clicked on some of the links, and this was where it took me. This is my first picture of a 3D printer, and I just looked at this and I saw the nuts and bolts, and I was like, it immediately made me feel excited because I saw what's the word? Like it was an erector set that I actually seen a erector set again for the first time. Like, oh, what can this do? It's very interesting. I could figure out what this does, and apparently this can make more things. I was just very excited. And being bored with my job, it was very interesting for me to get into something new. And I knew I'd be moving soon, so I thought it'd be nice to have someone to distract me while I was waiting to move. So this was the RepRap Cells Mendel. This is the second version of the RepRap, and I highly encourage you guys to go looking through Hackaday under the keyword rep wrap, you can go back and see all of the favorite things that maybe we take advantage for. Bed leveling, multi-extruder, color mixing, all these things, rep wrap, which is replicating rapidly, prototyping 3D printers. Rep wrap did it first. They were like the do it in your garage kind of people. So this has got me very excited. I did a lot of research after this. I went to reprap.com or .org. Let's go ahead and pull that up. Headed over to reprap.org. And this is the new site. I mean, this is obviously where it is now. Adrian Boyer was the inventor of RepWrap project, not the concept of 3D printers, but RepWrap project. So I did a lot of research. I got into the forums, and I selected a website. I just started Googling for websites about 3D printers, and I don't even know if it's still up. One website I came across was called botmill.com. It's gone now, but they had a very good kit. I wonder if Eckertech is still up. They used to sell RepWrap kits. Basically, it was the plastics, some of the hardware, some of the electronics, and you could actually build a RepWrap back then. And these kits were like not cheap. They were like $1,000 to start off in 3D printing, and you still had to assemble it, and it still might not work. So to do anything in 3D printing was very, very, very expensive back in that time, and I was not making a lot of money. So even building this was probably at the lowest possible end, $700 to $800, because the plastic took forever to print. There's a lot of hardware there. The electronics were very new. Motors cost at least $100 by themselves, and it was just so new. And anything that's so new, it costs a lot. So after about a month of research, I went over to Kickstarter, and up until this point, there was like 1 or 2 Kickstarters about 3D printing, but not too much at this point. Nothing had been successful. And here you can see I kind of grabbed an image from the RepWrap website. This is the machine I intended on making. It's you can see the wood there. You can see a lot of the artifacts, a lot of the original bones of what we have now in 3D printing. You can see that we were still using a perpendicular x-axis instead of a one that's locked in parallel, like they turn at 90 degrees. You can see mounting the electronics to the frame. You can see we had belts on the Z. So we had both lead screws, but they both turned, but they had belts on them. Crazy, right? So this is a Kickstarter I started, and I was really anxious about starting this. I don't want people to think I was kind of scamming them, because I didn't know anything about 3D printing. I hadn't owned one. I didn't ever see one. And I was going to go to Kickstarter and ask people, hey, basically, you help me buy the printer. I will learn how to do it. I will actually learn how to make these parts. The parts I print will be sold or bartered for little to no profit. And it was so no profit whatsoever. I think I went under. I think it cost me like a couple more grand than what I got out of the 3D printing Kickstarter, but it gave me a lot of motivation to keep moving forward. So all I wanted was, I think, $1,000. Yeah, I wanted $1,000 to help me buy the parts I needed. And that was it. So rewards were like $1. You get updates. If you want printed parts, I'll make you for them at a cost, just basically fair trade. $5 or more, I'll send you a bottle opener. Back in the day, that's one of the first things you would ever print was a bottle opener. Next, you get $5 or more, you go up. Small objects. Now at $15, I would actually make you an extruder in ABS. This part will get you started in building. the printed parts, okay, and the $25 or more, 2 small parts, 2 medium parts, blah, blah, blah. This one right here, 50 or more, really became a pain in my ass much later. And it was because the Huxley had barely come out when I started this, and it was about a very small printer. You could see it on the website. I think I'm bothering you. I'm going to try to be quiet. So the Huxley was just a small rip wrap. It was still under development. $100, I would print out the same parts I got from the website. I would just make new versions for $100. I would send those out to you. $250, I would send out a whole kit of hardware, no electronics. And I think I sent out one for $900. The project did pretty decent. I got almost $4,000, and that was a lot. I was in the middle of a move. I had a new dog. It was all very stressful for me, but I was basically building a 3D printer in my living room with roommates. It was a pain in the butt. So this is where I started, and I was so excited. You can see I just jumped right into it. Oh God, I don't want to watch. I'm gonna cringe watching my own videos. Here we go. I'm John, and I want to build a 3D printer. I'm not great at making a video, but let me say it who I am. I'm a mechanic by nature. I want to work on things. I work with my hands. I was in a barracks room. I still have that shirt. I was so nervous. The enthusiasm was so high. Just couldn't even understand it at that point, what it was going to be. And then it goes into the video that you can see on the RepRap website. Kind of a dry video, so I cut some of it out. Man. So the next thing I did after I got the Kickstarter, I ordered the parts from a website called Botmill. At this time, they had what looked like some of the best 3D printed parts you can buy. It looked so clean. They had kits. They were talking like $1,000 for printed parts and hardware. $1,000 just to get in. Nothing's even moving yet. No motors, no electronics, no heated anything, no nozzles. Or you can go for $2,500. Anyways, I ordered it and it came in. It took forever to get anything in from these people. You can see on this date it is February 27th. So December 10th, I discovered 3D printing. January 2nd, I started the Kickstarter. And then by the end of the Kickstarter, I knew I was funded. So I ordered it before my Kickstarter campaign even ended. And I waited 6 weeks for this to show up. First unboxing. The Steadicam work never stopped. still have that purple shirt somewhere. Now this is in the living room of a shared apartment with 1, 2, 3, 4 other people I was living in this apartment with. And that is, God, that's my cat or my dog. I can't tell. A bag of bolts. I was filming this on a Sony Handycam. So that was the first thing I unboxed with some bolts, belts. I had no idea what I was doing yet. I still had that feeling of like, this is exciting. Didn't know what's in there. Probably parts. What else? Bunch of plastic parts. I thought these were 3D printed. Yeah, I thought those were 3D printed. Turns out they were actually... I'll wait till later. I'll tell you after this. Just unboxing everything. I just wanted to be transparent for my backers. I just wanted them to see everything that was happening as it happened. That there was no secrets and that I wasn't stealing their money. I had gone out to Sears, at a Sears right across the street. I got to Sears and bought a bunch of, I sorted everything. I bought some tool organizers. I laid everything out nice and flat. I had no tools. I needed tools. This thing had so many things to bolt together that your hands would be numb from just... Everything had nylock nuts. Everything had washers. Everything had washers on both sides. Threaded rod. It was a fucking nightmare. Oh my god. I had no idea what I was in for. That's crazy. Okay, so my point here is that this website is what got me started in the 3D printing. Hackaday. This project crashed so bad that the bot mill parts were not actually 3D printed. They were acrylic castings of 3D printed parts that were from another website. They bought them from another website called Eckertech in Canada. They molded them and they made acrylic castings of 3D printed parts because it was cheaper. So they were charging the same price or more for inferior parts. So when I started putting them together, it didn't fucking work. I have a whole playlist. You can see it in the description. I have a playlist called the Bot Mill Fiasco and explains the first 30 days of my 3D printing thing. Please go look at it. I'm trying to get my videos back up and trying to get my mojo back. Go check out that playlist and tell me what you would have done if you had to deal with a company that was not being honest and lied about where the parts came from and you didn't get what you paid for and you were new to this and you had people watching you. It was kind of scary. So that's what really got me into 3D printing. In the next video that I do, we'll talk about how I redeemed myself and how I was not afraid to move on and just count that as a failure and move right on into the next phase and find a different plan. And that's really where things started to take off. So thanks so much, guys, for paying attention and watching this video. Please like if you're new here, subscribe. Everybody is welcome to my channel, and I like talking to all of you. If you're interested in 3D printing, that's what I do here. Thank you guys so much. It's been really awesome. I like talking to somebody about 3D printing. And in a couple of days, I'll be back 3D printing, and I got some very interesting things coming up. I think I might be actually a patent holder here pretty soon. So thanks, guys. I appreciate it. I'll talk to you later.